So the book is Crevices of Beautiful Minds, Crevices of Beautiful Souls. Crevices of Beautiful Minds, Crevices of Beautiful Souls is a two-in-one book of poems. The more common theme within the book is an awakening. Within the first book, Crevices of Beautiful Minds, there's an awakening to the boundaries of, you may say, religion, myth. And it is about the characters being, they have an evolutionary voice. Evolutionary voices seeking to find a place for religion, myth, or spirituality into this very independent and intelligent generation. So the characters in the poems are standing off with conventions or even sounding off with traditions. So on the whole, it makes a lot of reference to biblical writing, to Greek methodology, to classical writing, but through the eyes of an evolving mind seeking lessons for life. So even the chapters of the book also run within such a stream. It moves from evolution to revolution to resolution and then absolution. Evolution being the awakening, revolution being a struggle, resolution being trying to find common ground, and absolution being finding peace or making peace. So one of the things you actually take away is that the book takes you literally on a journey of self-discovery that is triggered by shaken beliefs or doubt. So on a whole, you would actually classify the book as a spiritual journey. The second book, on the other hand, Crevices of Beautiful Souls, is also similarly about an awakening. But in this case, more playfully so, it is about an awakening to love or the naivety of love. So it similarly takes you on a journey, but rather on a journey of reassessment that is colored by love and strife. And one of the poems in the book is actually reassessing silence within a relationship as a role or as a factor of miscommunication. It actually says very bluntly that silence is not golden, silver, or bronze. Silence is repudiating. Silence is not rest for the dead. Silence is not bliss for the dying. Silence is not rest for the unfed. Silence is not peace for the living. Silence is not where lovers meet. Silence is not how clovers wilt. Silence is not consensual. Silence is not contextual. Silence is not so silent. It's the harshest and most dreadful echo, resounding our indifference before their last cry dies. So a lot of the poems are very mature, but again, all through the eyes of an evolving mind. And again, one of the things you'll actually notice is that it takes you more of on an interpersonal journey. So to briefly summarize the two books is that Crevices of Beautiful Minds is a spiritual journey that is between a struggle between man and his God, while Crevices of Beautiful Souls is of an interpersonal journey between man and his mate. So just a quick background about the book. I started writing the book in around June of last year. So the book was published in September. And one of the things also is that I wrote it in New York City. I mean, what other place to actually inspire beautiful minds than New York City, inherently rich in its diversity. But also more importantly, around the time I was also writing the book, is that New York City was making a very huge stride with respect to the whole issue of marriage equality. And that actually ended up being very complementary also towards the progress of my book, or how I wanted to angulate some of the characters in the book too. One of the poems, specifically Resting with an Angel, has a backdrop of a biblical story wherein Jacob was actually wrestling with an angel. This is from the Genesis book within the Bible. So again, most of the poems make use of classical biblical stories and Greek methodology, but this one is making use of a biblical story of Jacob wrestling with an angel. The irony here being that not necessarily someone wrestling with demons, but rather ironically so, wrestling with an angel on a matter of love. And it actually takes you on a very potent struggle within the poem. Basically, it starts off by saying, a bloodshot eye, a wounded cry, a cleft eye left on an angel's smile. Clutched by the neck, turning pink, I wiggle limp for breath and drink. Despite disrobed, disfigured wings, he boxed my fury in a glass of steel. As a lifeless lynx lodged between his jaw, I can only blink, lest snap like twig. My fight is to climb the mind of God. We Jacob sought to squelch his thirst, but first past armies of angels with piercing blade tips that dip and spill as squills in ink. I've wrestled with demons, drug loss and addiction, but lost in this battle for boundaries and love. where God is love, yet my love for you sin. I bleed through this ladder, now wrestling the angels. Again, taking a very potent background of like Jacob wrestling with the angel within the Genesis book of the Bible. So the book of itself makes a lot of references to biblical stories, methodology, but again, all through the eyes of an evolving mind. So definitely, I would definitely invite you to take a look at the book. It is available on major bookstores, online, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The ebook on Amazon Kindle, so it's available also for Kindles and Kindle on iPod and iPods too, iPhones too. So you can actually preview the whole first chapter of evolution. And some of the reviews that have come in are very, very inspiring too. One of the reviewers actually mentions the book as very genuine, emotional, haunting, thought-provoking, inspiring, and very intelligent body of work. So definitely I would invite you to take a look. If you're having a boring day, it would definitely keep you thinking, as it is very thought-provoking, and you'll actually find it to be a very compelling read. So thank you very much for looking at this video, and I definitely invite you to take a look. You'll definitely enjoy it. Thank you very much.